Hello and welcome or welcome back to the Drive to Thrive show, the show all about being yourself, being your best, and truly thriving in life, whatever that means to you. You know those times in life where everything just feels like it's flowing, you feel super connected to your goals, you're taking action with a sense of clarity, intention, and drive, and as a result, the way that you're showing up, the progress you're making, and results that you're creating leave you with this real sense of being fulfilled? Well, that's for a very good reason, which is exactly what we're going to be talking about in today's episode: living with purpose, discovering and embracing your core values for a fulfilling life. Where we're going to be learning all about the immense power our core values hold. I'll be sharing with you tips and tools on how you can discover your own personal core values, and then we'll put it into action by exploring how we can embrace and nurture our core values for a purposeful and fulfilling life. So, without any further ado, let's get into today's episode. Living with purpose, discovering and embracing your core values for a fulfilling life. For starters, why is it even important that we live a purposeful life in alignment with our values? Well, when we live a life out of alignment with our values, when we're not clear on what our values are, we can find it difficult to make decisions that we feel truly aligned with and confident about. This means that we can end up doubting ourselves, damaging our confidence and self esteem, potentially getting things wrong and learning lessons the hard way, which, of course, from time to time is perfectly all right. That's how we learn and grow through mistakes and failure. But if we're consistently making decisions that lead to failure or lead to us feeling bad, unfulfilled, doubtful about ourselves, then of course there's something we can do to change that. The other thing is, when we live out of alignment with our core values, which are the things in life most important to us, this is when we can feel lost, disconnected, unfulfilled, unhappy in life. Which, of course, isn't a nice way to live, and left unchecked can end up turning into mental health issues like anxiety and depression. But when we're clear on what our core values are and we live a purposeful life in alignment with them, it does some very powerful things. Firstly, we have a sense of clarity in who we are, what we stand for, and what's most important to us in life, which brings about a strong, natural sense of self confidence and also allows us to make decisions which we can fully stand behind and feel confident about. In turn, this clarity allows us to live our lifestyles, set our goals, and optimize our habits and behaviours to align with and uphold our values. Doing so gives us a strong, deep, intrinsic sense of self esteem and confidence, as well as a powerful sense of purpose from knowing that who we're being, how we're living, and the actions we're taking are intentionally designed in a way that is authentic and meaningful to us. A sense of purpose which drives us forward towards our goals and also pulls us through the challenges, obstacles, and hard times we might face. Lastly, living a purposeful life in alignment with our values gives us a true sense of fulfillment, an intrinsic sense of fulfillment from being who it is we want to be, living the life we want to live, being able to meet our own personal needs and desires, and intentionally designing our lives, habits, and goals around the things in life that are most important to us. This is why values is one of my absolute favourite sessions to go through with my coaching clients because it's such a deep, intimate, and powerful way of getting to know ourselves. And when we know ourselves that well, we can take our standard of self care to a whole new level. We can truly align with the things that we really stand for in life, and we can live in an authentic way that energizes and empowers us to be our very best, achieve our goals, and thrive. This isn't just something that I enjoy doing with my clients. Living a purposeful lifestyle in alignment with my values is something that is hugely important and powerful for me too. In life, we all have roadblocks, challenges, and unexpected obstacles to face in the pursuit of our growth and goals. And living a lifestyle that gives me a sense of purpose allows me to deal with these things so much more easily. For example, growing a successful business is something that at times can be pretty demanding. And for me personally, in the beginning, it was something that I found quite challenging. I knew absolutely nothing about being a business owner, growing a business, being an entrepreneur, or even being a coach. On top of that, as I started diving into these things, learning about them and putting them into action, I had my own fears, doubts, and insecurities pop up about my ability to grow a business, being an entrepreneur, putting myself out there into the world, and I had all these things to overcome through my own personal growth. On top of that, there was the unexpected challenges life threw my way, like COVID-19 coming along and completely disrupting the way I do business like it did for so many others. My fiancée Kirsty going through postnatal anxiety and depression, and doing the balance of taking care of my family, growing a business, pursuing my health and well-being goals, all with the extreme lack of sleep from having a brand new baby in the house. But regardless of what life threw at me, I was able to take charge of my mindset, view these things objectively, and take them on with a sense of drive, determination, and conviction to overcome them and keep making progress. Because for me, my goals, my lifestyle, my business are all aligned with my values and my purpose. Because for me, it's hugely important that I do something that I love and find meaningful, that I feel makes a positive difference, and allows me to live a life that I love because I want the best for my family and I want to create that by helping others just like you to be their best, achieve their goals, and thrive. That ticks so many of my values. That gives me a sense of purpose that allows me to overcome any of the obstacles that come my way. As well as that, it's hugely important for me as a father to be able to set an example so that one day when my daughter's old enough and starts asking bigger questions about life, I can say to her, you can be anyone and do anything you want in life, and it's possible to create an amazing life doing things that you love. And if she turns round to me and says, is that what you did, Dad? Then I can say, yes, I did, in full integrity, knowing that I am a living example and leader of that. And if that's what she wants to do, I can then show her how. Again, ticks so many of my values, gives me a sense of purpose, so that regardless of how difficult, how challenging, or how unknown a situation may be, there is something larger than myself, a vision, an ideal, principles that pull me over those challenges because it's not just about me. It's about helping others. It's about making a positive difference. And it's about being a leader for and setting a positive example to my family. As well as that, when it comes to making the important decisions, both big and small, day in and day out, being clear in our values makes that so much easier. Who we are and our current lives are a direct result of all of our past decisions. So when it comes to the decision to get out of bed early on the cold, dark, wet mornings to go and do a workout, to cook and eat the healthy meal when I really can't be bothered, to do the difficult things that aren't going to pay off till further into the future, knowing what opportunities to take, which people to spend time with, all of this becomes so much easier to make clear decisions on and stand by with confidence when we know what's truly important to us in life. So, what are core values? Core values are like our internal compass or GPS for life. They're made up of the morals, ideals, and principles that are most important to us, and thus are a monumentally contributing factor to who we are, how we think, the decisions we make, and the actions which we take. Our core values also play a very significant role in shaping our lives, because our values are what we use to evaluate, guide, and prioritize the very decisions which we make. And so, whether we realize it or not, whether we're clear on our values or not, when we're making decisions about who we want to be, how we want to live, and what actions to take, more often than not, the decisions that we make are designed to move us towards things that align us with and uphold our values, or to move us away from things that misalign us from our values or even challenge them. This impacts just about everything in our lives, from who we choose to spend time with, the work we do, whether we care for our health and well-being or not, how we show up in our career, business and relationships, the foods we eat, books we read, and so much more. Basically, who we are and our whole lives revolves around and is impacted by our core values. And so, when it comes to our personal growth and fulfillment, identifying and clarifying our core values is essential. And here's three very good reasons why. Having clarity on our values allows us to live a lifestyle that meets our personal needs, honours what's most important to us, and allows us to stand for the things we truly believe in. And thus, the life that we live naturally fulfills us. Secondly, when we're clear on our values and we can look at ourselves, our goals, and our lives through the lenses of our values, we're more easily able to identify opportunities to grow, improve, and make changes that can mitigate stressors and things that misalign us from our values, and also identify ways in which we can grow, improve, and change to align more with our values. Lastly, when it comes to confidence and self esteem and growing as a person so we can be our very best, self awareness and self knowledge are power. Because the more we know about ourselves through being clear on our values, the more sure we can be of ourselves. And thus, the more easily we can design goals, habits, and action plans that align us with our core values, meet our needs and desires, and thus create feelings of confidence, contentment, and power within us naturally from the inside out. To aid us further in our understanding of core values, here's some examples of what some could be. We have freedom, growth, connection, truth, love, family, health, adventure, and so much more. And values aren't universal, they are personal to each of us. And so, although a value could be represented by one word like freedom, freedom could mean a million different things to a million different people. For example, to one person, freedom could be all about having the autonomy to run their own schedule the way that they want to. Whereas for someone else, freedom could be about having the health and fitness to be free within their body and in their life to do all the things that they love. And so, going through a process of discovering what our core values are and exactly what they mean to us is so powerful when it comes to gaining self knowledge, growing as a person, and thriving, which is exactly what we're about to do. When it comes to discovering your core values, one very simple and highly effective way of doing it is to use a values list, where you have a sheet of paper that has a big list of lots of values on it. From there, you can begin circling and highlighting all the things that are truly important to you in life. Once you've done that, total up how many values you've selected, and if you've got more than 10, then you want to begin refining it down. And you can do that by asking the questions: which of these could I live without? And or, which of these aren't as much of a priority as some of the others? And use these questions to help you whittle it down until you've got your top 10. Some people like to refine it down to their top 5 or top 3 core values, and when I'm doing this with my clients, we get it to their top 10 core values and then rank them in priority order so that they know what their top 1, 3, 5, and 10 core values are. But for now, just clarifying what your 10 top core values are is a great start. And if you scroll down to the show notes of your podcast host or the description of YouTube, you'll find a link where I've created a completely free values list for you to use. So make sure to go down, download that values list, and you can start clarifying your values right away. Another powerful and effective way of discovering our core values is using a process of reflection. So, if it's safe for you to do so just now, I would like you to sit comfortably, close your eyes, take in a nice big deep breath, and when you're ready, just sigh it back out. And then take in another couple of nice big deep breaths and just sigh them both back out. And then allow yourself to return to your natural breathing. And I want you to have a think about what some of the top, most exciting, enjoyable, and fulfilling experiences you've ever had in your life are. Begin to bring up some memories about what some of these times are, where you felt truly alive, you felt truly fulfilled, you were excited, you were really enjoying yourself. And I want you to pick out 1 to 3 of these top experiences. And as you think about one of them just now, have a think about what you were doing, who you were with, where you were, and what was it about that experience that made it so special, that made it so enjoyable. And by thinking about what made it so special and enjoyable, you'll begin to glean insights as to what some of the core values are that were being honoured and upheld in this experience. Once you've done that, take a note of those, close your eyes again, go to that second experience, see it through your own eyes, hear it through your own ears, feel it through your own senses, relive it just now, and again, think, where are you? What are you doing? Who are you with? What is it about this experience that makes it so special? And again, Allow yourself to explore that, draw out the insights and ideas, begin to clarify what some of the core values are that could have been highlighted in this process. And then again, repeat it for that third experience in your own time when you're ready to. What was it that made that so special? Why was it so enjoyable? What values could have been honoured and upheld? And then lastly, once you've gone through three of your most enjoyable experiences, I want you to think about 3 times when you felt really stressed, really challenged, really out of sorts. And again, have a think about those experiences one at a time and ask yourself, what was it about that experience that made it so unpleasant, that made it so stressful, that made me feel so ungrounded or unbalanced? And again, what you're listening for are the core values that were being challenged, that you were out of alignment with when in these experiences. And again, this will help you to clarify what some of your core values are. And if you want to take this to the next level, use your values list, highlight your top 10 values, go through the process of reflection, reflecting on some of your top favourite experiences from life, reflecting upon some of the most stressful experiences of life. Identify the core values from those experiences and see if you've got them reflected within the values that you chose from your values list. This is a great start to clarifying our core values, and it is super, super powerful. So make sure to download that values list, get clarifying those values, and go through this process of reflection. And before you know it, your core values will be crystal clear. Now you'll have a good idea of what your core values are. The last step in discovering them is to begin clarifying and defining exactly what it is they mean to us so that we can connect to them even more deeply and thus live them fully. And to help you do exactly that, I've got 2 simple questions for you. So whether you want to do this with a pad and pen or in your journal, go through each of your values one by one and first ask yourself the question, what does this value mean to me? And then just write out anything and everything that comes to mind about exactly what it is this value means to you personally. Once you've done that, I would like you to then answer the question, why is this value important to me? And begin writing out anything and everything that comes to mind about why this value is important and truly meaningful to you, how it's going to add value to your life. And by the time you've done this, you will have a very clear idea of exactly what your core values mean to you and be prepared and ready to go on and embrace them. When it comes to embracing our core values, beginning to align our daily decisions and actions with our values is absolutely key. Because what this allows us to do is make sure that the daily decisions we're making and actions we're taking are true to ourselves and grounded in what we stand for and believe in. This in turn gives us a strong, natural sense of self confidence from knowing we're being authentic to ourselves, doing things in the best way for us, and that we're on the right path with everything that we're doing. It also allows us to identify and mitigate unnecessary stressors ahead of time. By looking at our daily actions and decisions through the lenses of our values, we can identify things that could pop up that may conflict with or challenge our values, things that could stress us out, bring us down, or hold us back, and thus we can mitigate them ahead of time and proceed forward in the most productive and effective way possible, not just to be fulfilled, but to give us the greatest chances of applying our full potential and achieving the success that we want. Lastly, when our daily actions and decisions are intentionally aligned with the highest core principles we hold, it allows us to connect even the small things we do day in, day out to something much bigger. To our compelling visions, to our inspiring reasons why we want the things that we want, and this gives us that innate sense of purpose that drives us forward towards success from the inside and can pull us through any roadblocks, failures, and challenges that we might face that might otherwise hold us back, bring us down, or even keep us stuck. Because when we have a big enough reason why, we will find a way how and can achieve anything we want. Here's 3 quick tips to help you begin embracing your values. Number 1, Have them somewhere that you can easily see and refer to them. Whether you have them on the inside page of your journal, on the background of your phone, or on a post it beside your laptop, keep your values somewhere where you can easily see and refer to them so that throughout the day you can begin to reflect your values in your daily actions and decisions. Number two is to begin exploring our relationships through the lenses of our values. This way, we can make sure that the people we spend most time with are supportive of, in alignment with, and maybe even share some of our core values. It also means we can identify people in our lives who are potentially unsupportive of or in direct conflict with some of our core values. This means we have the opportunity to have open conversations with these people about what we can change or consider ending the relationships. Doing so allows us to make sure that the people we have in our lives are aligned with what's truly important to us, supportive of our values, goals, and vision, and the relationships we have are high quality, energizing, and empowering. Tip number three is to use some self inquiry questions to help us to gain some personal insights about embracing our values. By asking ourselves, what does it mean to me to live in alignment with this value? What does that look like in my life? And how can I put this into action and begin embodying it right away? By the time you've answered these three questions, you'll have some very clear ideas about what it means to live in alignment with that value, exactly what that would be like in your life, and how you can go and put it into action right away. And that's three quick tips to help you start embracing your core values, the power of which is incredible. Let me share a quick inspiring story with you about a client of mine called Victoria. When Victoria first came to me, she was pretty stressed out, feeling lost, disconnected, and rather unfulfilled. She'd reached a point in her life where her current lifestyle and career just didn't feel right anymore. It didn't feel like her, but she had absolutely no idea what to do, so was pretty conflicted about the options she had in front of her. So much so that when she first came to me, she only had 6 weeks left in her current work contract with no other work lined up. In her apartment, that contract ran out in just 7 weeks. And so when she first came to me, to say she was stressed out and overwhelmed is a bit of an understatement. To help Victoria return to a place of calm, contentment, and confidence within herself, one of the first things we did together was get her clear on her core values. Clarifying what our top 10 core values are, putting them in priority order, and defining exactly what each value means to her. From here, we were then able to decide what it would look like to live in alignment with these values, create a vision of what she would love her life to be like that honours and upholds her values, and from here, she could start making much more empowering decisions and actions. From this place of clarity and certainty on what's most important to her in life, Victoria was then able to effectively assess her ideas, options, and goals through the lenses of her values and vision and then confidently get into action. Being a driven action taker already and now fueled with an intrinsic sense of purpose, in just 2 months, three incredible things happened for Victoria. Number one, she created an ideal role for herself within an organisation she absolutely loves. A role that day in, day out aligns with her values, energises and fulfills her. As well as that, also gives her the spare time to work on her business. Second, Victoria found her dream home. A little homestead out in the middle of nowhere that gave her the freedom and privacy she wants out in nature, as well as some spare land on which she can grow her own food. All things that just tick even more of her values. As if all that wasn't incredible enough, number three, Victoria found love in her ideal relationship. By being clear on what her core values are, she was able to cut through all the noise, crap, and surface level conversations of the dating world to find a partner who truly aligned with and supported her core values. Pretty amazing story, right? Well, that's the power of aligning with and embracing our core values. And to this day, Victoria continues to thrive and nurture a purposeful and fulfilling life aligned with hers. This brings us nicely onto the topic of nurturing a purposeful life. Living with a sense of purpose is something that we can all achieve and enjoy by beginning to incorporate our core values into our goal setting and decision making. This is something that I'm going to dedicate a full episode to in the future, all about setting powerful goals that align with your values. But for now, a great start to incorporating your core values into your decision making and goal setting is simply to look at your goals, decisions, and potential options and action steps through the lenses of your values by asking, how does this goal or decision align with my values? And then go ahead answering this question. By doing so, you'll be able to see if this goal or decision aligns with what's truly important to you or not. And if it does, you can go and take action with clarity, confidence, and purpose. And if it doesn't, you can either choose to let it go and move on to something else that does, or see what you can change about it to make it align. The next step to nurturing a purposeful lifestyle is maintaining alignment to our values on a daily basis. And here's some quick tips to help you to do that. Number one, as we mentioned before, is to keep our values somewhere we can easily see and access them. That way, they're going to consistently be at the top of our mind day in, day out. Number two is to assess our daily goals, tasks, and to dos through the lenses of our values so we can connect to a sense of purpose, effectively prioritize, and easily make important decisions. Number three is to reflect upon and assess our day using our values so that we can think about the day past and assess where we were aligned with and honouring our values and where we maybe weren't. This way, we can give ourselves praise and credit and double down on where we were doing well and view where we weren't objectively and ask, what can I do to improve going forwards? Lastly, is to get intentional about how we live our daily lives. And we can do that simply by asking the question, what habits, rituals, or routines can I create that are going to uphold and honour my core values? By answering this question, we'll be able to identify behaviours, habits, and routines that we can create that on a daily basis are going to align us with our values and thus energise us, give us that sense of purpose, and drive us towards our goals. When it comes to living a purposeful life, three things that will help you greatly are self awareness, self reflection, and ongoing growth. Self awareness allows us to check in with and understand what our gut, intuition, and emotions are telling us so that we can make the best decisions about what to do right there in the moment. It also allows us to check in with ourselves to notice any resistance where we're maybe going out of alignment or maybe where we've gone off track so that we can do what's necessary to quickly course correct and get back on the purposeful path. Lastly, it allows us to make decisions on a larger scale so we can keep maintaining the purposeful path, aligning more with our values and continuing to move forward and grow. Self reflection allows us to take a step outside of the frame of our lives and take an objective look at who we're being, how we're living and showing up, and how it all relates to our values and purpose. In turn, we can positively question and challenge what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how effective our current actions are, so we can create clarity, ideas, and insights on the most efficient and effective way to do things that's in alignment with our core values. As if all that wasn't powerful enough, the process of self reflection also allows us to identify key areas and opportunities for our personal growth so that we can continue to be our very best, achieve our goals, and thrive, all in a way that aligns with our core values and gives us that sense of purpose. When it comes to the role that ongoing personal growth plays in nurturing a purposeful life, I want you to think of it like this. The only constant in life is change, which means that our environments, relationships, and the world around us is ever changing. As we reach new levels, we're going to face new devils. As we get better, our challenges will get bigger. And so, to make sure that we can keep successfully taking these things head on, overcoming them, and leveling up, we want to be consistently learning and growing. As well as that, as we go through life and the many experiences that we have, we're going to change in both subtle and substantial ways through our experiences. And so, to make sure that we can adapt to maintain alignment to our values, to live on purpose, and to thrive, we want to make sure we're engaging in an intentional and active process of consistent personal growth so that we can match the changes that are happening all around us in our lives and within ourselves. Imagine this with me for a second. When a plane flies from London to New York, there's a perfectly straight line between those two locations. But the plane doesn't fly in a perfectly straight line. It takes off and it finds its course and aligns itself with that straight line. But then, due to the wind, turbulence, and different factors, our plane is knocked a couple of degrees off to the left. The pilot then course corrects and brings the plane back into alignment with its route, and eventually it's then knocked off course a couple of degrees to the right. The pilot then course corrects, gets it back in alignment, the plane goes out of alignment, and the pilot corrects again. And so between London and New York, our plane doesn't fly in a perfectly straight line. It meanders from left to right across that line, but our pilot is consistently making intentional changes to keep our plane as aligned with that straight direction as it possibly can be. And so, when it comes to our personal growth, goals, and lives, we're not always going to travel in a perfectly straight line. But by knowing what our core values are and linking that to a sense of purpose, we have a straight line, we have a direction, we have a golden thread of purpose which we can follow. Which means that with this process of ongoing personal growth, we can be making the purposeful and intentional changes to keep ourselves course corrected so that we can be as aligned with this line of purpose as we can possibly be. And so, when it comes to our personal growth, goals, and living a purposeful life that fulfills us, being clear on what our core values are and linking those to our goals and vision for life gives us that sense of purpose. It gives us that true north straight line that we can follow, just like the plane. And then, through an active and ongoing process of self awareness, self reflection, and personal growth, we can continue to make the intentional and purposeful changes to course correct ourselves as life to's and fro's us. Which means that we can continue to stay in alignment, to live with a sense of purpose, and be truly fulfilled. This brings today's episode nicely to a close, and we have learned a lot about core values and nurturing a purposeful life that truly fulfills us. We now know that values are the principles in life that are most important to us. We know they're important because being clear on our values allows us to make decisions that honour what we stand for and believe in, that meet our personal needs, and that move us away from stress and challenges in life towards a path of purpose and fulfillment that allows us to thrive. We learned that we can discover our core values by using a values list to select and refine our core values from there, by reflecting on some of our peak experiences in life to see what values come up, and then by clarifying our values further by asking what this value means to me and why it's important. We then explored how we can embrace our core values by having them somewhere handy that we can easily see and refer to them, by viewing our relationships through the lenses of our values to make sure that we have high quality, empowering relationships, and lastly, by asking what it would look like in our lives to live in alignment with that value and how we can put that into action right away. Last but by no means least, we learned of 3 powerful ways that we can nurture a purposeful life. Firstly, by incorporating our core values into our goal setting and decision making. Secondly, by maintaining alignment to our values daily through intentional habits, rituals, and routines, and viewing our daily tasks and to dos through the lenses of our values. Thirdly, by engaging in an active and ongoing process of self awareness, self reflection, and personal growth, we can continue to adapt, grow, and evolve so that we can maintain the purposeful and fulfilling path. We can achieve our goals in the most effective way possible, and we can truly thrive. And so, if you haven't done so already, make sure to scroll down to the show notes, download that values list now, and begin discovering what your core values are, so that you can begin nurturing them, embracing them, and enjoying a purposeful and fulfilling life. Please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube and leave a 5-star review with your podcast host. It really helps the show immensely, and I very much appreciate it. Until next time, take care, please be kind to others, and I'll catch you real soon. Peace.